It's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, on top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
It's a very good evening, Zimbabwe, and welcome to a Friday preview like no other. It's going to be a bumper edition of ZiFM Sport because there's lots to look forward to in the world of sport. The team is here. Mike Madoda is here. Chris Midzi is here. Shonta Firenika, our producer, is here. And I'm Barry Manand. Here's a piece of needless information for you. Alcantara is a form of leather that they add to luxury cars to make them look just that better and assist with their performance. Just some needless information for you, nothing to do with football whatsoever. Well, on the home front, you can look forward to, we got a local sports news roundup where we'll update you on golf, basketball, as well as a Castle Lager Premier Soccer League update where champions FC Platinum seem to be battling to contain boardroom turbulence, which has hit their technical department. In international sports news, Brisbane Brumbies coach Dan McKellar is confident the returning Noah Lolesio can drive his side to the Super Rugby AU title when they face Queensland Reds in tomorrow's final.
And around the world in 60, we'll take off in New York, where Rory McIlroy was delighted to achieve his initial aim of getting off to a hot start at the US Open after he fired an encouraging 3 under 67 at Winged Foot. In Florida, Goran Dragic scored a game-high 25 points as the Miami Heat rallied from an early 17-point deficit to beat the Boston Celtics 106-101 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the early hours of the morning. And in news from France, US Open champion Naomi Osaka has pulled out of the French Open after suffering a hamstring injury.
We then take our play of the day, Fire Friday, Party Friday, if you will, just to get your party started right here on your favorite sports show. And then it's on into the beautiful game, where we have an extended special that kicks off in La Liga with an exclusive interview with the head of international business development at Real Betis, Alvaro Suarez Koala, who speaks about their interests in Zimbabwe grassroots football as well as the prospects for his team in La Liga this season. In the Premier League, Chelsea host Liverpool in an intriguing battle on Sunday, with both teams looking to make an early statement of intent. It's a weekend that also sees the two Manchester clubs, United and City, return to action. And then we go to the Bundesliga, where fans last season were treated to an exciting title race until the coronavirus lockdown, after which Bayern Munich turned on the magic and raced away from the chasing pack. This time, Die Rotten are hot favorites to finish top of the power for the 9th straight season as they kick off the new campaign against Schalke 04 tonight.
Let's get the show on the road with our power play today. It's by Anita. It's featuring Cardi B and Mike Towers, Mike with a Y. It's called Me Gusta.
Hi, my name's Ryan Kens, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Don't forget, we can keep the conversation going apart from the hour-long show on social media. At ZiFM Sport is the handle to follow, and we'll give you information about whether it's Alcantara, whether it's Sa, whether it's whatever you want to hear about. By Sa, I mean Sadza. I'm not talking about football as well. Whatever you want to talk about, we're willing to talk about on our Twitter handle and Facebook, as well as YouTube. It's at ZiFM Sport. And don't forget, our individual handles are at Mike Madoda, at Chris Midzi, at Shonta Firenika, at Gazaman14 for Alois Bunjira, and I'm on at Barry Manandi. Remember, the big guy is also available. At Mark Pozzo is his handle. Later on in the show, we'll be hearing that conversation between Mike and a representative of Real Betis about the Betis Academy Zimbabwe. It makes for very interesting listening, as well as Betis's goals for the new season in La Liga. But first, let's start with our local sports news roundup, starting with golf, where the Zimbabwe Golf Association has applied to the Sports and Recreation Commission to allow for the return of caddies to bring back excitement to the game. In May, government lifted some golfing restrictions, and ZGA urged members to strictly adhere to safety standards prescribed by authorities. Part of the conditions for the return of golf was scratching of caddies, leaving players to carry their bags across the greens. ZGA Administrator Tirivashe Nereyembwa has said that the association is working towards ensuring the return of caddies doesn't interfere with the safe environment they have created. No doubt a very welcome development, especially for Michael Madoda, who does not enjoy carrying his bag whatsoever. On to basketball news now. The Basketball Union of Zimbabwe, Buzz, hopes the 4th edition of the Southern Africa 3x3 Under-18 basketball tournament planned for December in Bulawayo will go ahead as scheduled following relaxation of COVID-19 regulations. Following an announcement by the government that international flights will start in October, Buzz is hopeful countries coming to compete in the tournament will also have opened borders in time for the games. 10 countries, which include hosts Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, Namibia, South Africa, and the Indian Ocean Islanders, Madagascar, and Seychelles, have confirmed their participation in writing.
From Rufaro to Barberfield, Mandava to Nyamunga, all the perfect moments in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League come together on ZiFM Sport.
In the top tier of domestic football, the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League Premiership champions FC Platinum seem to be battling to contain boardroom turbulence, which has hit their technical department. The Jashani side could be forced into a further reshuffle of their coaching staff amid reports there's a power battle between head coach Hendrikus Peter de Jong and his former assistant now, Lizwe Sweshe. Reports are saying that Sweshe has been shifted to the development side in the club structures. The Dutchman appears to favour the recruitment of his former assistant at Highlanders, Mandla Lulumpofu, to be his deputy. Yesterday, club spokesperson Chino Chizondo confirmed the reshuffle and said more was on its way. Turbulence at FC Platinum. Mike, in your view, is this them sorting out their issues, or is this just the tip of the iceberg and we're going to see a whole lot more coming out of FC Platinum?
Barry, FC Platinum should have known what they were getting when they poached Peter de Jong from Highlanders. He's very eccentric, he's very erratic, but what he is that he's a winner and he plays great football. And so you've got to embrace everything about him. And so in this case, Barry, this power battle, the FC Platinum, of course, will sugarcoat it and try and spin it in one way or the other. But what it is a power battle between Lizwe Sweswe, a man who sees himself as part of the fabric of the club, and Peter de Jong, who's come in and has been given the top job at the club. In this situation, as FC Platinum, I say back the top man. You can't back the subordinate. You got to give Peter de Jong all the rope that he needs, and if he doesn't use it properly, he'll hang himself. So for me, back Peter de Jong and judge him on the results that he gets on the field of play.
And if you look at just the upshot of it, Chris, it seems like they've backed Peter de Jong, because if you look at the cynical view, you'll say that Lizwe Sweswe, it's a bit of a demotion going to the development side. Chidochi Zondo and FC Platinum have come out and said that no, they want to put a bit more focus on the development side to ensure that they're churning out players. Regardless of what the situation is, the man left standing at the first team is Peter de Jong. They've backed their man.
They've backed their man, and rightfully so. Like Mike said, if you're going to make that appointment, then you can only judge the man based on, first of all, the resources that you've given him. So if he's requested certain resources, then if he doesn't perform, he has a leg to stand on. But at the same time, I think there was always going to be, a degree of a bit of friction there. There was always going to be a bit of friction between Lizwe Sweswe and Peter de Jong, because Lizwe Sweswe has been there for quite some time now, and when the former coach Norman Mapeza, when he left, Lizwe took over, and I think to a certain extent he had wanted to continue whatever project it was he was working on with FC Platinum, and he didn't get the chance to do so. And here comes Peter de Jong, and I'm sure there was a degree of a bit of bitterness that was there, that he should have been given the reins. So I don't think this is a relationship that was going to work anyway. It would have been great if it had, but it's sad that Lizwe Sheshe is going to be leaving this team, but also going to continue putting the FC Platinum print on the development side.
Yeah, but that's where I have a problem with it, guys. That are you trying to tell me that there's a disconnect between the development side and the first team? Because those two teams should actually be working in tandem. And if they're working in tandem, it means that there is potential points of friction, once again, between Peter de Jong and Lizwe Sheshe. You cannot have two bulls in a crawl. For me, the situation here demands that one of them has got to leave the club. That's what it demands.
I certainly think so, because if which is what the official term is, that Lizwe Sheshe is going to concentrate on the development side and push players through to the first team. That means they've still got to work together, and if there's friction, it simply isn't going to work. I think Lizwe's chagrin comes from the fact that Lizwe Sheshe has just won the championship with FC Platinum, took it from literally the hands of Caps United, and would have thought he would have been given the rope to go forward. He played against a Peter de Jong side in Highlanders, and now this guy's coming and wants to tell me what to do. I'm not going to have it. So I think one of these guys is going to leave, and my money is on Lizwe.
Hi, this is Mike Madoda, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM. We are Z-Team on ZiFM Sport.
Z. From the front of the grid to the back of the net, it's ZiFM Sport. International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play.
Time to go international with our sports news right here on ZiFM Sport. But don't forget, we've got the beautiful game in the second half of the show, and there's a big game in London as the champions Liverpool visiting Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea. Who will win that one? Send us your predictions on Twitter. Follow and interact with @ZiFM Sport. Now, there's also a big game, this time in the world of rugby, down under in Australia. And Brisbane Brumbies coach Dan McKellar is confident that the returning Noah Lolesio can drive his side to the Super Rugby AU title when they face the Queensland Reds in tomorrow's final. Lolesio has not played since July 18 when he picked up a hamstring injury, but his earlier form was so good that Wallabies coach Dave Rennie still named him in his first squad last Sunday. Let's get the pre-match thoughts of Brumbies coach Dan McKellar.
The starting 15 is pretty much the core group that was playing at the beginning of the year and has played for large parts of this year, and Joey Powell deserves an opportunity there, and we've picked a strong group to finish the game. You know, grand finals, they're generally tight affairs, so we're pretty comfortable in the guys that will come off the bench and finish the job.
Z.
It's the Super Rugby AU final, and I guess, save for Waratahs fans who argued that their team belongs in this game at this stage. But it's difficult to argue, Barry, that these are arguably the two best sides in Super Rugby AU, and that the Brumbies, who qualified for the final automatically, will go into this game as favourites.
They certainly will, and also the player that you mentioned earlier, Lolesio, he's going to be key to their match plan, as it were. So the Reds will need to, number one, avoid Lolesio kicking deep into their penalties, deep into their territory, and here's why. At the set piece, particularly lineouts, Brumbies have been dangerous. They've scored 24 tries from their line out in this competition, the Super Rugby AU. So that's 11 more than the next best side. So chances are this is the set piece that the Brumbies will be looking for. So the Reds need to counter that, and counter that by ensuring that Lolesio doesn't get a chance to kick those penalties deep into their territory.
So I guess, Barry, discipline in midfield is going to be key, because if you're mentioning that they have such a high output from the attacking line out, that means that even penalties sort of like in and around the halfway mark, they can easily kick towards the 22 for that attacking line out.
They're a no-no, and so consequently you'll probably find that the Brumbies will be looking to be strong at the breakdown, try to force that error, try to force that indiscipline upon the Reds, and if they fall into that trap, we're going to see quite a few points scored from that attacking lineup.
But the opponents are the Queensland Reds, a very historic team in Australia. And of course, they will be hoping that they can build on a 4-game winning streak leading into the Super Rugby AU final. In one of those matches, they managed to beat the Brumbies 26-7. Before we get to hear from Chris, let's get the pre-match thoughts of Reds coach Brad Thorne.
For us, we just see a really tough opponent. A really tough contest, and our job, we know we're flying in, fly out. We're down there to do a job, get a job done, and you know, those Brumbies, they'll be so proud in front of their people, and you know, they've been working hard too. Their staff, their club, their players have been working, you know, to this moment as well, and it just makes for a fantastic contest, and that's what we want for rugby in this country, and someone will get the result. Yeah, we look forward to seeing who that is.
Chris, I mentioned earlier that a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the Reds able to do one over the Brumbies with a very impressive performance. Will they look to that as inspiration tomorrow?
Most definitely. They've had to make a number of changes to their squad. If you take a look, it's a pretty young squad as well. But I think they'll be able to look to that because of just the, like you mentioned, if you take a look at that scoreline, 26-7, I think that was an incredibly huge margin. And going into this, they're high of confidence, 4-game winning streak. So they'll be able to go into it with a lot of confidence. And I think that's exactly what they need. If you take a look at the two sides there, almost evenly matched. So I think just that extra confidence going into this match against the Brumbies will be able to take them over.
But there's a fascinating stat here, Chris. Each of the last 10 Super Rugby games between the Brumbies and the Reds have been won by the home team. Does this mean that this one swings in the favor of the Brumbies?
Yeah, so the Reds haven't beaten the Brumbies in 6 years in Canberra, and that's an incredibly long time. You'd think that maybe it's a bit of a jinx, a bit of a hoodoo for them mentally. And also, when it comes to home advantage, Australian fans are allowed in stadiums. They're socially distanced. It's not at full capacity, but just that home atmosphere does count for something, and it might just the atmosphere itself might weigh on the Reds.
As we wrap up, Barry, I want a quick prediction from you. Will this one remain in Canberra with the Brumbies, or do you see the trophy going back to Queensland?
No. The Brumbies are going to keep the trophy at their home stadium in front of their home fans. This one, for me, be all the way, the Brumbies.
Hi, I'm Jesse Krill, Springbok and Blue Bulls backline player. You are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Only DSTV brings you the very best football action. Catch all the action from the most popular league in the world, the English Premier League, with some of the world's biggest stars in Sadio Mane, Harry Kane, Sergio Aguero, and Virgil van Dijk. Catch all the action on the brand new Super Sport Premier League channel on channel 223. We have the world's best football, only on DSTV.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
Around the World in 60 is proudly brought to you by DSTV. We take off in New York, where Rory McIlroy was delighted to achieve his initial aim of getting off to a hot start at the US Open after he fired an encouraging 3 under 67 at winged foot. McIlroy has often put himself under pressure to chase in majors following erratic starts, as exemplified by his 7 over 79 at the Open last year, but his consistency from tee to green was in good order in New York as he carded 4 birdies and just 1 bogey. The second round tees off tonight as action at the US Open continues throughout the weekend. We'll head over to Florida, where Goran Dragic scored a game-high 25 points as the Miami Heat rallied from an early 17-point deficit to beat the Boston Celtics 106-101 in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals in the early hours of the morning. Bam Adebayo, the hero of Game 1 with his critical block in overtime, added 10 rebounds as the Heat improved to 2-0 in the best-of-7 series. series. And in news from France, US Open champion Naomi Osaka has pulled out of the French Open after suffering a hamstring injury. The hamstring issue had prompted Osaka to withdraw from the final of the Western and Southern Open in the run-up to the US Open, but it did not appear to hamper her at Flushing Meadows. The Japanese player had been scheduled to appear at the French Open, which begins on the 27th of September in Paris. So you might have noticed a bit of a switch up in those Supersport channels. The Grandstand channel, launched with the revamp of the Supersport channel reshuffle recently, is designed to bring you the best of live sporting action throughout the day, with the focus primarily on the premium sports and not the football ones that sit right next to it. You can see the pick of rugby, cricket, golf, motorsport, tennis and more as the day's sporting offering unfolds.
Hi, I'm Warriors coach Zdravko Logarušić and you are listening to ZiFM Sport.
Sports with a difference.
Z. The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The league that makes football oh so beautiful. Where artistry and strokes of genius are the order of any day. Where the game is played with a smile and the little master creates his magic.
It's Lionel Messi!
All the news from the Spanish La Liga on ZiFM Sport.
The goal the world wants it!
All right, now on to that special we've been talking about. It is Zimbabwean in nature, has a bit of La Liga flavor. Now, over the last few weeks, we've kept you updated with an exciting development in Zimbabwe football that could have a generational impact. The establishment of the Betis Zimbabwe Academy by Real Betis Football Club out of Spain. Now, last week, the Zimbabwean partner in the academy, Gerald Sibanda, unveiled former Dynamos captain Murape as the local head coach of the project that will be tasked with training junior players around Zimbabwe and identifying what could be the next generation of warriors. Now, earlier today, our very own Mike Madoda caught up with the head of international business development at Real Betis, that is Alvaro Suarez Coaya, and spoke to him about their interest in Zimbabwe grassroots football, as well as the prospects of his team in La Liga this season. Interesting discussion. Let's have a listen.
I want to start by saying congratulations on your first academy in Africa. What attracted you to Zimbabwe as a nation? We're not used to this sort of investment. We're not used to this sort of attention. And we're pleased that you have set your eyes on Zimbabwe. What attracted you to Zim?
Okay, first of all, thanks very much for the interview and for the interest shown both in the academy project and in the club. I thought you were going to say congratulations because of the 3 points that we got last week in our first league game. But I also accept the congratulations for this partnership. One of my duties as a member of the international development department of the club is to develop our network of academies and sports projects worldwide. So there is a long time that I met someone in Zimbabwe that made me think more about the country, find the facts about the country, the importance of sports in the country, and we have been working or thinking of a partnership like this, and finally we made it real around March, April, May. We started to making it real. Then all this virus slowed down the relationship, or the agreement that we're going to put in place. But finally, we have agreed to start very soon, and we are really looking forward to it. Of course, Zimbabwe it's a country that we have already seen with some appearances that our local partner has done on media and with the press conference that we have done from the club, that the interest is huge. Also in social media there is a lot of movement, and we see there is interest in the academy, when it's going to start, what the project is going to look like. So we really welcome this happiness from Zimbabwe regarding our project.
Absolutely. And what are you looking forward to on this journey into Africa, with Zimbabwe being the first country that you are having such a relationship with? What are some of the things that you're looking forward to?
Okay, there is one thing or a couple of things that we look wherever or whenever we reach an agreement like this. It doesn't matter if the country is Zimbabwe, Nigeria, United States or China. We always look for the international development of the Real Betis brand. So that's one of the reasons why I'm on board on the club. And of course, we look after the country where we are going, what we can give to that country, how can we help the development of the grassroots of that country, because at the end of the day, this is a grassroots development project. So we are trying to help Betis, to help football, and to help our partners. So in this case, we are trying to help Zimbabwean grassroots. So we're going to help the Real Betis image worldwide. So this is more or less what we are trying to do. And if we can help the local federations, local leagues, or institutions like La Liga, which are pushing very hard for the development of the game, football, in this case in Africa, to Enrique and Marcos and their office in South Africa. So this is the point.
You've just mentioned there that one of your intended aims is to help with grassroots development of football, especially here in Zimbabwe. Now, describe for us the support you'll be giving to the Real Betis Zimbabwe Academy.
Of course, I mean, at the end of the day, the Betis Academy Zimbabwe, which is the name that we use for our academies, despite of the fact that the club is Real Betis. For this academy project, we call it Betis Academy. So in the Betis Academy Zimbabwe, we have established already a relationship among our Betis Academy Sports Direction in Spain with the sports direction of the new company established in Zimbabwe by our partners. And we are looking forward to help the football development of the country as much as possible. We will be giving programs for kids from 5-6 years old, and we will try to help as much as possible through our brand and through our knowledge and methodology, values, and all we can give to the country to make it possible.
Now, La Liga, like I said earlier in the introductions there, it's a growing brand here in Africa. You know, traditionally, a country like Zimbabwe, having been colonized by England, there are a lot of people, obviously, who lean towards the English Premier League by virtue of the fact that we're an English-speaking nation. But of late, through television, we have been exposed to other leagues, especially La Liga, which has got like I said earlier, a very growing fan base. People enjoy La Liga, you know, the players are very technical, the football is enjoyable, and so this expansion that you have had as Real Betis, you know, with your brand going global, what stimulated this drive for you to take the Betis brand global?
As you said, in Zimbabwe, you are every day seeing that the La Liga's brand is growing. So as well as the La Liga brand is growing, the brand of the clubs that form La Liga, which like Real Betis or Real Madrid or Barcelona, maybe the case of these two ones, the brand was already big enough. But all the clubs that form La Liga, we are all growing, and in the case of Betis, we decided that we, apart from this help that we received from La Liga and from the international broadcasters, that they do a very good job broadcasting our games, doing resumes of our games and so on, we also decided that we needed to go outside ourselves as Real Betis. That's where when the club put in place the international department like 2-3 years ago. And we are trying to push as well from the club. So we know La Liga is pushing. We know some countries are pushing with their followership or with their followership of the social media, of the games, of the TV resumes. But we need to push also from Real Betis with our own projects that we think that can add value to the different countries where we are, like Zimbabwe in this case.
Now, what would you define as a success for this project, this Betis Academy here in Zimbabwe? What would you define as success, you know, for this project?
Well, there are several ways. One of the ways could be that in a couple of years, I would say months, we should be the #1 Spanish club over there. Another point for measuring success should be an increase on the interest on the Zimbabwean community on La Liga games, either if it's Betis or not Betis. Another key point could be having lots of registrations from kids in our academy. Other key point could be seeing in a near future or in a medium term a Zimbabwean player playing in Spain, playing in Betis, or playing in a top level league in Europe, thanks to this grassroots development project. So at the end of the day, there are many small points that can so benefit from the project.
And so what do the next 10 years look like for the Betis Zimbabwe Academy? What are the next 10 years? The next 10 years. If you have to look, cast your eyes forward to 10 years, what do they look like for you?
I see a Zimbabwean Messi traveling to Seville for a game, dressed in green and white. Is that what you want to hear?
No. I was actually expected to hear that maybe we might see Real Betis touring Zimbabwe to play one of our top teams.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for reminding me this point. We are not just looking at this academy. Of course, this academy is the first point of, we hope, a long-lasting and powerful partnership that will lead to more projects. We are also thinking of other kind of sports projects. We hope not in 10 years. We hope sooner that in 10 years we will see our team playing with the national team in Zimbabwe, with a combination of players of the different national teams in Zimbabwe, or with the best team in Zimbabwe. Of course, there are things we are trying to work on, and we don't close any door. We are looking forward to anything that can help us and can help Zimbabwe and La Liga and everyone that is involved in this relationship.
Let's take our conversation to Spain, Alvaro. You did mention at the top of the show that I should have congratulated you for the opening day victory against Alaves.
I was, yes.
1-0 victory over Alaves. You've got Valladolid this coming weekend, and another match you're looking forward to win?
Well, of course. I cannot say we are looking forward to lose this one. So every week we are looking forward to win the next game, and after we play Valladolid, hopefully winning, we will be looking forward to win Real Madrid, which is the third team coming in this season for us. So every game. I don't think you will meet someone from a football club who is expecting to draw or to lose a game. So of course at the end, the engine of this brand called Real Betis is the first team. So the more they win, the better for all of us.
What are your season's targets? Are you looking to qualify for the UEFA Champions League? Are you looking to be in Europe? What are your targets for the season in La Liga?
Personally, my target is developing my job as good as possible and helping the club reaching its objectives, because I am not a footballer, I'm not a coach, so I cannot help much in this 3-point thing. But from a club perspective or from a first team perspective, I think the only idea this year is not UEFA, is not Champions League, is not being 10th, 12th, 14th, 16th. The idea is winning every game, every week. So the idea for this week is winning Valladolid, as the idea for last week was winning Alaves. Hopefully we achieved it last week, but we know it's not easy. So let's stay motivated and concentrated to try to take the 3 points against Valladolid, and then we will think of the objective of the next week.
You've got some very good players in your side. You know, Nabil Fekir is a player that's very popular here in Zimbabwe. Then you've got Joaquin. I think Joaquin is a player that a lot of Zimbabweans know. He's been in the league for a very long time. He's been a top performer, performed with Spain, the national team, and now he's doing it with Betis. Tell us a bit more about Joaquin, because he's a player that inspires a lot of people even here in Zimbabwe.
Of course, he's not what it's called a one club man, because he has gone a couple of years out to another La Liga teams, and he tried also his luck in Italy where he did a very good job. But he's a player that started with Betis when he didn't have beard, so he was a very, very young kid. Then he jumped into the first team of Betis also with the age of, I think he was 18, 17, and now he just turned 39 and he's still with us, and he just led for a couple of years. Of course, he's the captain. He's something more than a player. Maybe it's something that you can compare with what Raúl was for Madrid, or Buffon for Juventus, or Totti for Roma. Is these kind of special players that are different, and that they mean more than what they do in the pitch, that they do a lot. But more than that, actually Joaquin last year, I think he scored 8 goals with 38 years being a midfielder, which is awesome. But apart from what he gives to the club in the pitch, out of the pitch is much what he does.
Yes, and then also just taking a look at the situation that we are playing football in right now with COVID-19 and the fact that fans haven't been able to get into the stadiums. How has the club been able to adjust to that, both on and off the field?
Well, it's not only the fans. I'm a Betis member and I haven't gone to the stadium since March 13th. I think it was our game against Real Madrid. We're playing this weekend. I'm not going to the stadium. We're playing next weekend. We are not going either. So the La Liga is decided to settle last season during the quarantine a very tough protocol, trying to see if that was the way to make La Liga finish and to make the business move. And they achieved it. So the protocol is tough, and if the employees and the spectators and the family of the players and if anyone can attend the stadium, honestly speaking, I think the virus is something much more important than going to a stadium or watching a game from TV, and we need to take care of our business and of our health. So that's how it is. Of course, for Spanish clubs and for everyone, it's a mess. I mean, I don't think there is an industry or in the world that is not suffering this, and football is not different. But we need to adapt, and thanks to La Liga and the tough protocols they established, we finished the last season. We are starting this season with no problems, so we just need to say thank you and keep going in the same way.
Absolutely. Alvaro Suarez, thank you so much for the time you spent with me on this interview. Once again, congratulations on your first academy in Africa here in Zimbabwe, and all the best for the 2020-21 season in La Liga. Wishing Betis all the best. May you win the derby in Sevilla as well. We know that's important to you and important for your fans. May you do your best. And of course,
that one is taking place, if I'm not wrong, 3rd of January. So till the 3rd of January, we still have 16 games to win before that one. So we will talk about it at the end of December.
Absolutely. It all builds up to that, doesn't it? And of course, hopefully you can do one over the big boys, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Alvaro, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks to you, Mike, very much.
Head of International Business Development at Real Betis there, Alvaro Suarez Correa, speaking to our very own Mike Madoda. Now, in an interview, when you're asking questions, Mikey, you're not necessarily getting an opportunity to express what you think about what's being said. Here's your opportunity. What do you think?
I was very impressed by Alvaro, very well-spoken guy and very honest, very candid. And I was also particularly excited about the level of support that they're going to be bringing to Zimbabwe. It's not just the material support, I think, which is the first thing that fans will look at and probably get excited about. The fact that they're going to be kitting out the youngsters, they're going to be providing football equipment and jerseys and footballs, etc. But I love the fact that they're going to be supporting Zimbabwe in terms of establishing the systems and the structures that are needed to groom the next generation of footballers for our nation.
Does this therefore become almost the benchmark or the framework upon which we can build our development structures, Chris, given that with the experience that Betis has, their academy being on our shores, we should certainly take great advantage of?
Great advantage. I think one of the most striking things from the conversation that Mike and Alvaro had was that they're taking a very long-term view to their relationship with Zimbabwe, and that's what we should be doing as well, and just learning in just the different spheres that go into developing the next generation of Zimbabwean footballers is take every opportunity that's presented to us to learn. I think it's important that we start developing that institutional learning and actually build structures and systems that outlast people.
Well, as you heard in that interview, Real Betis will entertain Real Valladolid this weekend, and they are looking to gain 3 points from every match played. They're not looking too far ahead, so they're starting with 3 points in this match day. Your other La Liga weekend fixtures look like this. Villarreal will take on Aiba. Getafe versus Osasuna. Celta Vigo entertain Valencia. Huesca versus Cadiz. Real Sociedad take on Real Madrid, and Granada entertain Alaves. Athletic Club versus Barcelona, Levante versus Atletico Madrid, and Sevilla versus Elche are all postponed.
All the rivalry.
Here is Harry Kane for Tottenham. Oh, what a goal! A classic derby goal from Harry Kane. Catch him if you can.
All the stars.
Oh, back here's Liverpool 2 in front. Talk about impudence. Talk about improvisation. Talk about Sadio Mane.
And all the game-changing moments.
And Raheem Sterling rattles it home. And once more, City are in front in a trice.
all the updates from the Premier League on ZiFM Sport.
It's the first big game of the season, and it's in England. Chelsea host Liverpool in an intriguing Premier League battle on Sunday, with both teams looking to make an early statement of intent. The two sides enter having won their respective opening day fixtures, Chelsea beating Brighton 3-1, while Liverpool edged past newly promoted Leeds 4-3 in a thrilling affair. Let's first of all get the pre-match thoughts of Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp before we get to hear from Chelsea's £75.8 million signing Kai Havertz.
No, we go to Chelsea, and that's a tough place, with or without supporters. The team they have, the manager they have, it will just be really hardest work again, and that's all we need to know.
Yeah, of course, it's a big price tag, but I think in football that is today it's normal to pay these prices. Yeah, I think it's for me. I will not do a lot of pressure on myself, so I'm just trying to focus on my football and try to play my best football here at Chelsea.
We just heard from Liverpool's German coach and Chelsea's German striker. It's a German flavour in London this weekend, isn't it, Chris?
Lots of German flavour in this game. Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp obviously going into this confident. He's managed to build a pretty strong squad, just minimal adjustments that he needed to make going into this season. But also Chelsea making some big signings, some big German signings like Kai Havertz. $75.8 million is a lot of money, and even though he'll insist that he doesn't need to justify it, I think there is a pressure that comes with the fact that he's expected to perform at this team, and Chelsea themselves have very big goals going into this season. They want to challenge, and he's going to be under pressure, but I think he's also very confident in his abilities, and I think Chelsea's confident in his abilities as well.
Now, Barry, let's talk about Liverpool. I know you are buzzing. So is every Liverpool fan, to be honest. The announcement that the Reds have bagged Thiago Alcantara from Bayern Munich has been a boost in terms of the morale on Merseyside. And Liverpool will go into this one with their tails up, believing that they can do a job over Chelsea, because this is a place that Liverpool has got results repeatedly over the last few seasons.
Yeah, it is a place that Liverpool certainly likes. It's a place that Liverpool plays well. Yes, I think the news of the signing of Thiago Alcantara gives the entire club, the entire place a lift, as well as the fans. So the morale will be very high. But apart from that, the one thing that Jurgen Klopp has brought to Liverpool is the professionalism to know that it's a 3-point game where you have to do the job on the green grass to earn the 3 points. So I foresee a very professional, intense approach from Liverpool, and a very good game of football, because let's be honest, Chelsea has improved. They're no mugs. They are likely to give a very good football match. But if Liverpool shows up, chances are this will go well for the Reds.
Are those midfielders for Liverpool, Barry, are they playing with their, occasionally glancing over their shoulders because they know Thiago has arrived, and therefore they know that their places are not secure in them?
Yes and no, because the other thing that Jurgen Klopp has been very capable of building is building the team dynamic and element at Liverpool. Everyone believes that they have a role to play, whether that role is as part of the squad or
Come on, Barry, that's such a nice answer as a Liverpool fan, but surely they're signing the most decorated player to ever join the Premier League. They are signing a player who was at the center of everything good about Bayern Munich as they won a treble last season. He's 29 years old. This player is not coming to sit on the bench. He's coming to play.
No, he's not. No, he's not. And look, in truth, the likes of your Naby Keita's, who was, in truth, on a fantastic run of form. He's showing what Liverpool signed in the first place. The likes of all the rest of the midfield talents that are at Liverpool are definitely looking over their shoulder, definitely considering the fact that one of them is going to have to make way. So they want to show up, and that might be just that extra boost that's required to get the result out of Chelsea.
Okay, let's give you your Premier League fixtures. The big game, like we say, Chelsea versus Liverpool. That's on Sunday. Other fixtures look like this. Leicester City will entertain Burnley. Newcastle United welcome Brighton and Hove Albion to the northeast at St. James's Park. On the south coast is Southampton, who will take on Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal versus West Ham United in the London derby. Leeds United take on Fulham in a battle of the promoted sides. Everton, they have West Bromwich Albion on Merseyside at Goodison Park. And then Manchester United, they begin their league campaign with a home clash versus Crystal Palace. Must win, isn't this one, Chris?
No, definitely Manchester United fans are a little bit anxious. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got a lot to prove. We haven't seen many signings. So I think going into the season, they need to get off to a good start and collect as many points as possible in every single game. So this is a must win.
Horsepower unmatched. Torque to beat the best. Speed unrivaled. Sleek and easy on the eye. Let's get behind the wheel of football engineered to perfection. The Bundesliga, made in Germany.
Into Germany proper now. Last season, Bundesliga fans were treated to an exciting title race until the coronavirus lockdown, after which Bayern Munich turned on the magic and raced away from the chasing pack. This time around, Die Rotten are hot favorites to finish top of the pile for the 9th straight season, and last year's Champions League winners will take some beating. Barry, Bayern Munich is going to be going into this new season, obviously high on confidence. But if you take a look at that team, they have, in terms of capacity and players, everything that they need to be able to get this 9th straight season.
Absolutely. And the biggest, if you like, the resource that they've got, Hansi Flick. And Hansi Flick has got the best out of this team. He's got the best out of his players. Probably as close to a clean bill of health as he'll get at the start of the season. So I expect that they're going to try and streak ahead, albeit that Borussia Dortmund won't just let them do it without putting up a fight.
And Mike, speaking of Borussia Dortmund, we were a little bit nervous that they might not be able to keep the spine of that team that's been built, but they managed to do so this season, so they'll definitely be giving Bayern Munich a good run for their money.
Yeah, listen, I think, to be honest, sometimes it's the arrogance of English Premier League fans to think that they can go shopping in Europe whenever they want. But there's no reason for a player at Borussia Dortmund now to leave for any of the so-called big teams in England, especially those two teams, or especially those teams are not going to promise a challenge in the Champions League. They're in a good place right now, in a very good team, young team, where, like Barry said, with Bayern Munich odds-on favourites, there's not a lot expected of you, so there's not a lot of pressure. Second place is still a good place to finish in the Bundesliga. So Borussia Dortmund will be playing without pressure, but with a squad capable of challenging Bayern Munich.
Not long to wait now. Action starts tonight. Bayern Munich versus Schalke 04, and in the rest of the weekend, Cologne versus Hoffenheim, Union Berlin versus Augsburg, Eintracht Frankfurt versus Arminia Bielefeld, Werder Bremen versus Hertha Berlin, Stuttgart versus Freiburg, Borussia Dortmund will be up against Borussia Mönchengladbach, RB Leipzig versus Mainz, Wolfsburg will be up against Bayer Leverkusen.
Okay, we're out of time. We've got to go, but don't forget there is action in Liga and where our boys will hopefully be in action too. Olympic Lyonnais of Tino Kadewere starts it all off tonight. They take on Nimes at home, and then our man Marshall Munetsi, he'll be traveling across to take on Metz with his Stade Reims side. Paris Saint-Germain, the defending champions, who haven't had a great start to the season, will be looking for their second victory of the season against Nice. They are away at Nice. That being said, we're out. May God richly bless you. Have a fantastic weekend. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And Andy, out.
And it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
The biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.